Hi guys, to everyone, it's Ada from Pause and Rock, and it's my pleasure to have with us Alfie from Torus. First of all, thank you for being here despite the situation.
No, thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. I mean, right now, just let's say to the people that will see this interview, you are having a live show. You're a tour. You're touring right now.
Yeah, we're touring all over the place. We were in Glasgow last night, and we're in Newcastle now, and yeah,
Okay.
Bristol, and yeah, everywhere.
So, so tonight you're playing Newcastle. Let's say one of the mainland, the major city where metal is born. Let's say. So,
Mm,
how is going the tour so far?
it's good. We stupidly started it with a party with a band called South Arcade. So we probably shouldn't do that again, but it's been really
Oh, that's
difficult
cool. Why?
starting the tour. But yeah, it sounds good, but staying up till 7 or 8 in the morning is it's not ideal if you got a gig the next day or a whole tour the next day. But it's been really fun, and we played with a band called Skindred, and now we're on tour with the Virgin Marys.
So that's a cool.
So yeah,
Yeah, but let's say, it's good. I mean, if you can have the chance to do it, I mean, not every night, but at least maybe like the beginning of the tour, just to kind of inaugurational night. Let's start the tour with a party, maybe an ending party then.
it's doing it at the end.
Yeah. So there's gonna be another party,
Yeah, yeah. I think that the tour is the way we should probably do it going forward.
or maybe both. So of course, I mean the album is already out since the 13th of September, so 1 month of more than 1 month. How is it going? Because it's a debut album, but you already released material before, right?
Yeah, we've got the Sale EP that we released a
Okay.
couple years ago. Um, that was just recorded with just me and
Okay.
Harry, the bass player, and I played drums on that, and that was really just me and Harry in the band.
Okay.
And then we found Jack as we finally had a proper drummer
Okay.
and made an album with the three of us. So the
Okay.
band sort of was
Let's
properly
say
started this
okay.
year. Um,
This year. So let's say started when you start to record the album, let's say, not in the 13th of September of 2024. Started when you start to compose. But of course, before speaking about the full length, I want to talk about, because I know and I read that each one of you has a different influences, and it was kind of nice to see there is a little bit of punk, a little bit of southern rock, there is a little bit of everything, and it's catchy and it's not catchy, but at the same time, it's don't know, it's a chilling, not chilling. It's like a kind of a paradox almost, but it's cool. I like the vibe. I like the video clip. It's beautiful. I was watching before the video clip, especially when it comes, but in general, this kind of atmosphere that comes from the video reminded me of Puddle of Mud vibe, kind of, let's say something like that. And it's nice to see there's still that feeling around, of this sound of this band from those years that I forgot that still exist. So, like I was mentioning, I wanted to ask you about because of course we don't have the other two members. The next time I will ask to them too. Your personal musical background. I mean, how you started, like because you mentioned drum. Everything started. I mean, it was your first instrument. You were towards attracted by percussion.
yeah, so I mean, I grew up in a musical household.
Okay. Okay.
My mum sort of made all three kids start on violin,
Oh,
and
that
so I
was
kind
fun. Okay.
of got yeah, yeah, I was into it, but I wasn't into the classical reading music and stuff. No way. So I did my what my dad does, which is play guitar. And also around the same kind of time, maybe a couple of years later, I started playing drums as well,
Okay.
on pots and pans and things. Um, but yeah, just grew up listening to a lot of classic rock, um,
Okay.
personally, and then sort of in my young teenage years, started getting into kind of bands like Caius and early Queens of the Stone Age and stuff.
Okay.
And it's funny you mentioned the When It Comes music video, because
Yeah.
that is sort of inspired, video wise by their song Green Machine. In the That was in the desert, but we did it on
I
the
see.
beach instead.
Yeah, but it looks like you recorded
But
the
yeah,
video in LA, some spread it in LA. The desert between
yeah, yeah,
LA and Nevada. Yeah.
yeah, we wanted to go out to America like that. Obviously, that would be wicked, but you know, we don't have the money for that at the minute. So we went to a beach in England. Yeah.
And of course, you were talking about how you got closer, of course, because throughout your journey, you arrived in Taurus. So how?
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I mean that kind of Torus came about um probably yeah, sort of beginning of 2019, I'd say.
Okay.
Um I was playing in loads of different bands with Harry, the bass player, and yeah, just you know, sort of wanted to do music that I wanted to do, you know,
Okay.
um, and was looking for a band. And Harry was, I think he wanted to play drums, but I was like, no, you're going to play bass. And yeah, yeah, basically, I played with lots of different drummers for a long
Okay.
time. Um, but it was really just an idea to start with, and I was doing
Okay.
all the demos, um, you know, playing all the different instruments and things. Um, and then me and Harry sort of started to collaborate, you know,
Okay.
um, kind of musically. And then, yeah, a long time later, now all three of us are sort of doing it together in the studio, kind of putting our different inputs in, you know,
Yeah, and of
because
course,
we're all into very different music as
yeah.
well.
And what bring, of course, like to the moment to say that we want to be more serious in the music scene because you can go out just just like have a lot of parties instead of being having a lot of tour because it's a little bit it's no it's like okay we have a party but we are touring, we are making music, we are releasing an album, we are going, let's say, more a turning serious point.
I think me personally, like luckily, I've always known exactly what I wanted to do, you know, in terms of just
Yeah.
playing in a band and doing that, you know, I've always known. So I've always been very serious about that. And then obviously you find, you know, what you're going to do. And obviously Torus came about. But yeah, we're always learning new things, you know, like us as a band, we're all pretty driven and kind of figuring out different strategies and like how you're actually going to do it and how you're going to get to this place as quick as possible, sort of thing. So yeah, we're
Yeah.
pretty, despite all the partying and stuff, occasionally we're pretty serious about it.
Yeah, but that's I mean, of course, that's good. That's come on, that's the core as well. That's a part of touring. That's part of being like brothers in a band or with other friend touring. Is that's the bit of it, and especially being doing an interview on the road. That's a part of it, which is it's always better doing in-person interviews. But of course, when coming back to the
Yeah, for
album,
sure.
in if you mentioned we mentioned a little bit before both of you three having different influences as sound wise. General sound wise, how we could I don't want to like I don't like labels like southern in general in your own world how we can describe the sound, the first the sound of Taurus and then moving towards to the full length.
Yeah. So, I mean, when we started Taurus, or the idea of Taurus, it was definitely, you know, first Queens of the Stone Age album.
Okay, okay.
So it's definitely got that kind of grungy, um, heavy guitar sound. I think growing up listening to a lot of timeless music, you know, there's definitely that kind of 70s rock um influence where it's music that like Led Zeppelin and stuff that lasts. So
Okay.
it's kind of a bit like, you know, that's the aim to kind of do that. I mean, I've listened to mostly those kind of bands, so I aspire to kind of write that kind of thing. Um, and just writing, it's just writing
Yeah.
catchy pop songs, but under heavy guitars, really.
Yeah.
And I think with this new album, it's kind of a collection of songs that we've written over a long period of time,
Really.
um, and some are very new as well. So it's kind of more a compilation. This first album, I think,
It's kind
and
of a
it's
journey. It's kind of a
yeah, it's just
journey
given
through the Taurus early life until today.
yeah, yeah. But we're already, you know, kind of moving on from
Yeah.
that, thinking about our next thing, and
Really,
sort of,
already.
you know, we wanted to move on to the next sort of level up, really.
Yeah, because of
Um,
course, even it's being released now, like you were mentioning, there are songs that belongs to the past, maybe older
yeah,
and newest song. Just for example, because since the album is out, we can speak openly about it, which are of course that let's say the song or in general, just to mention a couple of you that have the, let's say, the old vibe of the old soul of Taurus. It looks like there's some ancient.
Yeah, for sure. Because we wrote so much music during lockdown. That's where a lot of music was written. It was actually a good thing for us.
Okay.
And yeah, so there's songs like All on Me
Okay.
and Into the Clear. What's another one? Gone is ancient. Yeah, it feels really
song.
old, really old
You
to us.
written on pipe, but Taurus. It's like the Magna Charta of Taurus.
Yeah, yeah. And then there's other songs on there that are like brand new. Like When It Comes,
Okay.
Avalanche. Those songs were like
Okay.
the newest ones on the album, I'd say.
So it's good as well to know to say to people, because they can kind of, you think, feel the difference of I don't want to say too much on the sound, but the difference of the time frame of the band. People can understand that listening to the
Yeah.
album, in their opinion. And what is changed, because it's like you put a two EP, let's say, in one and make a full length kind of. What is different sound wise from old song, the ancient song, and the new and the youngest one?
Well, even with the older songs, we of course we tried to make it. What would we do with that
Okay.
now? Try to modernize it a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say the older songs have a slightly more kind of stoner rock,
Okay.
kind of mid tempo sort of
Okay.
thing. And the newer stuff maybe has a slightly more, even though there might be also kind of not super fast, and
Okay.
we're not a punk band, but I mean, with Jack's drumming, he has a punk feel to it,
Cool.
so it's got a certain energy to it with the newer tracks,
Okay.
and just slightly more developed sound, I think.
And lyric wise, who is in charge of writing?
Yeah, that's an interesting one, because it very much used to be Harry. Harry, the bass player, would write a lot of lyrics like Geezer Butler and Sabbath. But it's kind of very much a mix now. Like I mean, I'm massively dyslexic, so this year I was like, I'm going to write lyrics this time. But Harry also helps. He does help out with just kind of neatening things out a little bit, or sometimes things don't make sense or whatever. But
Yeah, of course.
a lot of things in the band are very, we all kind of have our input, and kind of we all want everything to be the best it can be. And also with it's sometimes with three people in the band, it's like it's quite difficult because everyone's got to be happy. So there is that as well. So everyone has their own input, really.
So of course, and because of course, like you mentioned, having a little bit, I don't know, an input of both of you two, even writing the song, we could say that what could be the main influences behind the lyrics? Because of course, I don't want to ask you, it's about the true story, it's about personal life, it's about climate change in general, which is the main influence coming from the song? Or if there is a theme, I don't know, that you follow or pursue, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it is just kind of, we're pretty real with the lyrics,
Okay.
We don't really sing about a lot of fantasy stuff, really. Although I've listened to a lot of stuff like that, but it's definitely just everyday
Life, yeah. Yeah.
personal stuff, like a lot of relationship, a lot of sort of mental health.
Of course.
So a lot of real stuff.
And that's important, because it's kind of not having a concept album because you're not a metal band, but is like you said, all of you give your own input, and something comes with the lyrics. And of course, you mentioned kind of an hard rock, like for example Led Zeppelin. So I think these are your main influences, because of course, if I want to pick the other influences of the other two guys, I would like to have all of them just talk mainly. But speaking about you, like literally, what was and this is what I have to ask to everyone. And some I didn't, to be honest, I didn't do this question in a while. And and I don't think it's difficult, but I try just to picking literally 5 albums, or if it's too complicated, 5 artists, band is the same, that formed you as a human being, not a musician. No, as a Alfie. So just pick 5 album, or if it's easier, musician, artist, whatever it is.
Okay, yeah. I mean, obviously, this is a really
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Obviously, this is a really hard question, but
Okay.
I mean, I would say Ted Nugent's Cat Scratch Fever,
Mhm.
because that was an artist just as a guitar player, um, that sort of blew my mind growing up.
Yes.
I would say AC/DC's Let There Be Rock. That was the first album that I got, my dad got me, for Christmas or whatever. And that's what got me into rock, really.
Yeah.
That was the first album that was like, completely blew my mind. Um, Again, I'm just gonna have to pick randomly here because there's
Yeah,
like
it's okay.
different genres. It's not all
Yeah, of
just rock,
course.
but yeah, uh, you know, yeah, I'll probably go along more the vein of that, just as we're on that. But I mean, Electric Wizards, Dope Throne,
Okay.
that album, as a teenager getting into that definitely was like, you know, I was just pretty, I got really into that. Um, I would say the that Caius album, Valley Valley of the Sun, I think it's called.
Okay. Yeah.
Sky Valley Sun, or whatever it's called.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an amazing one. I mean, obviously, growing up, what's that Led Zeppelin compilation album, Mothership?
Yeah, speaking of a
You
classic.
know,
Yeah.
that was always
Yeah.
on repeat.
Yeah, these are amazing. So
Was that how many was that?
let's say there's a lot of hard rock in you. Let's say there's a lot of hard rock. Like let's say that the hard rock genre formed you a lot until today.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Okay.
But
Of course, you're not only hard rock, but there's been,
yeah,
for
yeah,
example,
for
some,
sure. But
let's
like,
say, yeah, more contemporary, even contemporary musician that, I don't know, you find out to do just, okay, I want to pick, that is not bad, maybe it could be an influence, I don't know. Because always we mention from the past, but we have to look some, even just one, just come into your mind from the present. So contemporary, like, or maybe an album that was out to these last years that you like, I don't know, and an artist. Could be any genre, it doesn't have to be just rock, could be even pop.
okay, yeah. I would say probably Corey Hansen. You know that guy?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Corey Hansen's
That's
Western Come album. That
okay.
album is like an amazing guitar album.
Okay.
The OCs, what's that? I think it's the Final Form. They released an album in the last year or so. Um, yeah, super cool stuff.
No. So let's say that, and before I just want just for the because of course people have of course they can go to YouTube, Spotify, and find your album and listen. There is Bandcamp and like I think all platform they can find the album. But if we want to give them really like one track to start, since they are kind of a mixed, ancient and contemporary, which song we would you recommend to give them? Like, for example, this is maybe you could start from here. Let's say, let's give them 2 songs to start with. One old, one ancient, and one new.
I just didn't get the first bit of that question. I think I lost you a bit.
Okay, so I was saying that since there is that your album is available, on the streaming platform and a physical copy. Of course, people are gonna put the album, but maybe they wanna think I'm gonna want to listen something on Spotify, want to listen something on YouTube. What do you like to? Would you like to suggest them to start to listen like as a song? One, let's say, from the ancient, and one from the new, maybe.
Cool. Right. So if you want a really like the oldest song we've got out, that would be High Rope, um, which is like the first single we released, from 2020 in lockdown. And then if you want a sort of mid, halfway point till now, I would probably listen to Clone off our Sale EP. And then if you want like a brand new track off our new album, I would probably listen to Avalanche.
Okay. So, and just to, of course, like I was saying, the album is available on Bandcamp in general. There's physical copy too, I think, vinyl. I mean, there's
Yeah.
everything for everyone. So right now about the live show, you are still touring. You are still until I think around 3 of December is the last one, probably the 3rd of December.
It's the 13th, yeah.
13th is the last one, and then you're gonna think, chill out a little bit, or you're still start to compose the second, the new album, and then new tour, and then something new. What you have in mind after this tour? Of course, I want to enjoy this tour, but just to give to the people a little bit of idea what's coming up next. Maybe they can join this tour. There's gonna be another chance to see you live in 2025.
Yeah, yeah. So we're touring basically right now with a band called the Virgin Marys for a few more dates.
Okay.
I can't say the exact dates off the top of my head right now.
Okay.
But next week we're going out of a band called City Dog.
Okay.
So basically the whole of November we're touring pretty much.
Okay.
At the end of November we've got a gig at the Black Prince in Northampton, which is local to us, on the 30th. And then if you want to catch our last show of the year, we're doing another Northampton show at the Lab on the 13th of December, which is like going to be our headline show. And then we'll just chill out and basically be writing new music. So we'll be just at home doing stuff.
Yeah, of course. And maybe, and maybe there is gonna be probably some festival in the summer, something, who knows. There is still a lot of time ahead. And maybe and maybe, who knows, maybe once you come back from home and everyone is chilling at house, lost in the middle of the winter, I'm gonna call up both of you three and do a 3 interview with all of you, so I can ask proper question about the influences and see how the tour goes. And if we are not in the car, you're not in the car, so we are more chilled without anyone that's to rush.
Yeah. No, that's all good. We don't mind at all.
Yeah. So if it's okay, I'm gonna write to Gina to just set it up another interview for lost in the winter, like how it's going, like what's boiling in the pot, let's say. Okay, so what can I say, Alfie? Enjoy tonight. Have another party. Just enjoy. It's life. There's the rest is for the weekend. Just not the rest for the weekend. The rest is for the dead. Enjoy and have fun. And good luck for the rest of the tour and for the album. It was really a pleasure. And greetings to everyone. And just go. You're starting to the live now, or you still? No, I think it's the sound check you did already.
We've done sound check and we're on in an hour or so.
Okay.
And then,
I'll let you leave I'll let you join the stage, the backstage. Okay.
Nice.
Have a good rest of the day. Bye.
All right. Thank you so much for having me on.
It was a pleasure.
Speak to you soon.
Bye.